This week on The Bachelor.
Don't feel like I know him.
Sometimes I just can't believe Carolina. To hear her be so iffy about the opportunity that you had to date Grant. Carolina.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of The Bachelor, Season 29, Episode 4. Let's get right into this. Okay, so the women are waking up. They're talking about the previous night and all the drama that went down. But then Jesse walks on in to give them some news. He says there won't be any dates today because Grant is not there. He's in Madrid. So they are all going to get on that plane and head to España. Falling in love in Spain sounds like a dream. There are 10 women left, so they get on going and arrive to Spain. We see Grant and Jesse at a basketball court over there in Spain. You know what I was thinking? Jesse has the best job. Getting paid and going on all of these trips, and all he has to do is say, "Ladies, this is the final rose." I want that job. So the ladies are enjoying the beautiful city of Madrid. They're super excited to be there. Then Grant joins them, and he says that there will be a one-on-one date. And in front of him, in front of everyone, he says that he's gonna take Dena. I like Dena, so that is going to be the one-on-one first date of the week. So they get going right away. There happen to be some little kids playing soccer there. They joined them. There was also some older couples dancing, so they joined them as well. There is a place that they came across where there's a ton of pieces of paper where people have written what they wish to happen, and they both do it with one another, and then they share what their wish was, and they actually had the same wish, which was basically they want a husband/wife and children and a family. Then they get on a little boat. Dena says that she feels a little weird being there and not helping. He was the one that was moving it. She's not really the type of person who likes to just sit back and have things done for her. She's kind of used to also being active. And Grant says that he doesn't mind doing everything in a relationship because he's a giver, but Dena's a giver too. And that's something Grant hasn't been too familiar with, so it'll be interesting. So then after that, it is the night portion of the date. They're talking about how fun their day was. And then Dena mentions how she's very, by the book, very drill sergeant. And she does enjoy having someone, though, who can make her do things a little differently and have a little bit more fun. Dena then shares that she's one of 11 children. And in her upbringing, talking about feelings wasn't really that common. It wasn't really what they did. And she says that, because she's a very independent, successful career woman, she says that other men have been intimidated by this. She does ask him what happened to his 7-year relationship that he had, like why did it end? And he says that because he was prioritizing his career, and the girl felt like he wasn't being there for her, even though he thought he was doing it for the two of them. But, he's all about trust and loyalty. Then they dance to some live music, and then he offers her that date rose, and she accepts. So, back at the hotel with all the other girls, they're talking about wanting a one-on-one, essentially. Like, at this point, they don't really want to be in a group date. They want to have the one-on-one. Carolina, the girl who had a one-on-one last week, the girl that spent all that time with him in the cocktail party, complains about not spending enough time with him after her one-on-one. She's very tone deaf. It's giving red flags. Then they get the group date card, and it says that Alex, Latia, Carolina, Natalie, Rose, Parissa, Zoe, and Julianna are going on that group date, and it says love is a world ride. That's what the card read. So that means Seraphina is getting the one-on-one. Okay, so it's a new day. It's the day of that group day, and I love seeing the houses and the streets of Spain. They're just beautiful. This particular town that they were in is very historic, so they're going to tour it riding donkeys. So they bring out 9 donkeys for all of them, and they ride them as they go across the streets. Carolina's donkey is super slow, so she's behind. Then they go to one of those bull fighting plazas, and there's an actual matadora there. That's what they're called. They don't have an actual bull, obviously, but they learn some moves and they have a fake bull. And each of them is taking turns practicing a little. And Latia sneaks in a kiss with Grant. Everyone saw. Obviously, they didn't like it, but that was quick of her. But then they're going to actually have a competition. So all of them go and they dress in traditional matador outfits. Jesse is there with some Spaniards pretending to be a sportscaster. He loves doing that. And some random people, like a handful of people they probably found on the street to be the quote unquote audience. So the competition is a mechanical bull ride. Like, let's see who can get on, ride it, and stay there the longest before they fall off. And a lot of them were bad. They were only lasting like 6, 7 seconds. Alex, though, she had a really bright idea. She decided to grab onto her dear life on the bull by like putting her whole hand and arm sort of across the bull's horns and like really gripping on her legs on the actual bull. So it was a really smart technique to stay on for a while, and she actually stayed up for like 47 seconds. And then the last one to go is Zoe, and she literally copies Alex's method. She does the exact same thing. She holds onto that bull the exact same way. And the winner ends up being Zoe. I would be so mad about her, Alex. Like, you stole my move and you won. So Zoe and Grant get to spend some time to themselves. There really wasn't that much time, just like a few minutes up in a building. So then it is a night portion of the group date. First, Grant talks to Parissa, and Grant actually has a gift for her. He has some rocks, but she really likes them, and it meant a lot for her, and they kiss. Again, like I said last week, these kisses, I don't know what's going on. Rose talks to him. She tells him how she felt very anxious after last week, after all that drama. She she says that, you know, that she felt as if maybe that was something they couldn't get back from. And he says that sometimes little problems like that can actually help them get closer. But I'm going to be honest, it didn't really seem like he had too much of a genuine connection with her right now. So then he talks to Zoe. Zoe tells him that she's really enjoying being here, but then he asks her like how does she really feel, because sometimes she can come across a little bit like stoic, and it's almost as if she's masking something. And she actually opens up a lot, like she's crying, being vulnerable, and she says that she was adopted, she grew up in a predominantly white place, being a person of color, so she always felt ostracized and as if she wasn't worthy, as if she wasn't beautiful. And I think that really helped him understand her much more, and it even made me understand her, and I hope it made a lot of the audience understand her too. And I definitely applaud her for being vulnerable. The thing is, though, Carolina is still being annoying. She's complaining that she barely knows him. Now, mind you, she's saying this to women who haven't even had a one on one with him or much time at all. She's saying things like, well, I don't even know him. Like, I can't get engaged to him after one date. So Juliana, who I like very much, says to her, let's go talk outside. So they go outside and she says, I want to touch base. Your comments about him and about this process and about you being skeptical and all of this has left a bad, sour taste in all of our mouths. Carolina right away became very defensive, very aggressive. Juliana says, well, like, why are you here? Like, do you not see potential with him? Carolina says, I do feel potential with him. I'm here for him, not you. I don't need to let you know. Juliana says, I don't think that's true. Carolina says, well, I didn't ask you. Juliana says, okay, I just hope you choose your words carefully and be more aware next time. I really applaud Juliana because, first of all, her intention wasn't to embarrass her. And I think that's really evident by the way that she took her outside instead of doing it in front of everybody. And she said it in a very respectful way. She was able to drag her in a very respectful way. So that was great. So then they come back inside where all the women are at, and it's super awkward because they want to know what they talked about. And Carolina then says to them, if anyone has any concerns for me being here or my intentions, then like I'm all ears. And they all did give their opinions slash concerns. But I mean, she asked for it, right? And of course, she can't handle the heat, so she starts to tear up. and says, I've never felt like this for someone as I feel for Grant in such a short amount of time. I just think that it's very fast. It's insane that I might have to introduce him to my parents pretty soon. And Grant walks on in and he's ready to sit down to give out the rose, but Carolina's still in tears and Grant can't ignore it, so he pulls her to the side. She tells him her side, so he feels like he needs to comfort her and make sure that her feelings are validated and he needs to fix it. And his way of doing it is by not giving out the group date rose tonight, which sucks because I think he was probably going to give it to Zoe and she should have gotten it, but nobody got it. So this is now the second time he feels unsettled. Juliana, again, she's very mature, so she's apologizing to the ladies if she contributed to this outcome, but they know that it's not her. So it's a new day. Grant is now on his one-on-one date with Seraphina. They arrive at some big, tall bridge and they're going to be jumping off. I don't know why every time these Bachelor producers gotta have people jumping from something. Like, there's so many other different types of dates. Poor Grant. That man seems so nervous, you guys. More nervous than Seraphina. And I don't blame him. They literally had to sign a death waiver. I actually felt bad for him because the bridge was extremely high. It was windy, it was raining. But you know what they do. They end up doing it and they jump. I said this last time they had to jump, but I feel like the willingness that it takes to jump off, that's like knowing that you might die. Like, that's crazy. But they do it and they kiss as they're swinging upside down. So that was that. It is then the night portion of the day. They're talking about how the day went, how it's fun to do fun stuff and adventurous things. And then Grant tells her that he says, I've noticed that when I kiss you, you're a little closed off, like you don't want to go all the way in. And she says, oh, no, it's not that. It's just that my mom is watching. So it really wasn't that deep at all, which makes sense. She then tells him about the advice that her mom gave her before coming on here. She says that her mom was a single mother. She raised her and she appreciates her. At the time, of course, during her childhood, she felt a little embarrassed that she didn't have a dad. And that definitely trickled down to some of her past relationships. But she likes Grant. Grant says, I see that you are very genuine and that you're a person who's ready. He says that he does feel a connection, so he gives her the rose. They kiss pretty passionately, and it was funny because she actually breaks the fourth wall and says, sorry, Mom. So that was that. It is then the new day, new night, cocktail party. Grant walks on in and says that it's been on his mind, all the stuff that's been happening after that group date. He wants to figure it out. So he first pulls Julianna. He asks her what happened, and she tells him straight up, Carolina was saying some things after your one-on-one date with her, and it felt ungrateful. She didn't really have anything positive to say. It was a lot of negativity. So then Grant goes to talk to Carolina. She's telling him that Juliana attacked her the night before and all this BS. And he says, listen, we had a great day and I thought you had enjoyed it. And not gonna lie, it does feel a bit sad to hear that maybe you had doubts or that you had your questions about it. And I actually understand you having that. Like, that's totally valid, but like, come to me about that, not to the other women, which I thought made a lot of sense. She's not really saying much. Carolina then goes back inside, and it was weird. The whole night is now all about Carolina again. Then Dena is crying and saying how much she loves Carolina and she's on her side of all this. It was I don't know what was going on. He has a small conversation with Natalie. I feel bad for her. She really hasn't had much time with him. So back inside, Rose is now crying. What is up with all this crying? She's crying about last week, about that whole comment that Rose had said to Carolina and Carolina told Grant, and it became this whole drama thing. Rose feels like it was Carolina who sabotaged her connection with Grant because she ended up looking like the bad person in the story. She thought that the conversation that she had had with Carolina was private and it was going to stay private. So she says to her, I feel like you backstabbed me, you did me dirty. Which I will say, I don't like Carolina at all, and I'm with Juliana when it comes to them, but like when it comes to this particular drama with Rose, I think Rose is wrong. There was no reason for her to have made that comment to Carolina, even if it was private or not. How the hell are you gonna tell her, oh, by the way, when you were dancing with him, he told me that he was thinking about me? Why would you even say that, even if it was true? That's crazy. So then Rose goes to talk to Grant and says that given the drama, she thinks that she should probably just go ahead and go home. And she does. So she eliminates herself. Okay, bye bye. It is then time for the rose ceremony. Grant lets them know that he really wants everyone to be more mindful and, be nice to each other. So remember, Seraphina and Dena already have a rose, so he begins giving roses to Latia, Julianna, Alex, Zoe, and finally Carolina. Wow, I was not expecting that. So Parissa and Natalie are eliminated. I did not think he was going to keep Carolina, to be honest with y'all. I really didn't. I really do hope the best for Natalie and Parissa. I thought they're nice girls and they definitely deserve to find love. So that was it, you guys. Wow, we're down to 7 girls now. This is becoming they're going very fast. But yeah, you guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Are you enjoying this season? Let me know. Some people say that they're finding it boring. I think it's whatever. But let me know your thoughts about this whole drama and everything that happened. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one.